You can't fight something that can do that.
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, Stacy Morsels. This is Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm about to go ahead and watch episode 1. It's a 3-body problem. I only became aware of this novel series, I think, about maybe a year or two ago from Quinn's Ideas. And I, only watched a little bit of one of his videos about it. And it sounded really intriguing, and I didn't want to get spoiled on too much, so I stopped watching it. But I had no idea they were making an adaptation until that first teaser came out. Obviously, I'm a little concerned just because of the fact that the DBs are involved, David Benioff and DB Wise from Game of Thrones, who I think do incredible work as long as they are fully interested in what they're doing. The last season and a half, basically, of Game of Thrones were, I think, pretty disappointing to most people, and I firmly believe that was because of their declining interest in really being fully present. But from what I heard, they also didn't really want to hand it off to anybody else to let them finish it, and so we just kind of didn't get their best effort. So I'm hoping we will get their best effort for this, because from everything I've heard about the source material so far, even though of course I'm expecting they'll have to make a lot of adaptational changes just to make such a cerebral story work as a television series, I'm still expecting that it can be really amazing if real effort is put into it and sustained throughout. I'm a huge sucker for a good mystery, and of course, obviously, as you guys can tell from most of what I react to on this channel, I love science fiction, so I'm just super excited. One quick note before I do get into this reaction.
Are you breaking up with me?
I may seem a little weird. I made an announcement on Discord and on Twitter about this, but I pretty much have so I don't have an official diagnosis of this, but there's a huge amount of evidence that I'm probably on the autism spectrum, and I've spent, like many people who go through their life with stuff like this, I spent a lifetime kind of learning to sort of conceal, mask a lot of my sort of, I guess, divergent tendencies or different tendencies from other people. Probably a lot of you have seen me constantly playing with my hands, though, which is, I think, is one of the stemming activities that I really I don't consciously notice as well, so it ends up on camera a lot. But I've decided that, there's a lot of stress that goes along with me trying to get ready to put on the mask before I make these videos. And it's been one of the things that's been keeping me from recording, because you dread the stress of having to be on, of having to think about what you're doing and control yourself and keep yourself still and sit properly in your chair and all that kind of stuff. And so I made it, the decision that I'm going to try not to do that. Okay, I'm going to try not to sort of force myself into the little box in the hopes that that will free up some of that energy, get rid of some of that stress, so that I won't sort of subconsciously avoid making videos. Because I love watching TV. That's why I started doing this stuff. I love watching these stories. I love sharing my opinions on them and things like that. But like, I started to kind of dread the fact that I'm going to be in public. It's like going to a party where you don't necessarily know everybody and you feel kind of stressed out, and it makes you kind of avoid going or try to come up with excuses to not go and things like that. And I don't want that to be a problem for the lifetime of this channel. So I'm going to try not to do that anymore. But what that means is that you're probably going to see some weirdness. More weirdness than usual.
How is that even possible?
Like more ticks and, stimming things and maybe sitting weird in my chair and all that kind of stuff than you're used to, because I'm going to be trying to not put effort into hiding any of that stuff from you guys anymore. So anyway, now that I've spent a good couple of minutes explaining that, let's go ahead and get into this 3-body problem, episode 1. countdown. Starting right off with the Cultural Revolution. Root away the bugs, sweep away all monsters and demons. Now, I know that there's like a thing where there's a line for the series where you are all bugs or something like that. Some sort of deep significance. Wow. They're not holding back. That actress did a pretty good job. I mean, she hasn't been on screen, but for what, maybe 5 minutes? And I'm already fully invested in her storyline. Are you here to arrest her too? Oh, wow. If looks could kill, man.
One of the betting sites had him pegged as a favourite for the next Nobel Prize in Physics.
You can bet on that?
You can bet on anything, boss.
You can literally bet on anything. He cut himself all up. Oh, Jesus. Trying to make the countdown stop.
According to the experiments, all of our theories are wrong. All of them. All of the physics of the past 60 years is wrong.
Yeah, that's the way it works, though, bud. That's how science advances.
Do you believe in God?
Is that what it's come to? No. I don't. I accept that this defies all known laws of physics, but I don't think that's an argument for God.
So what's left?
Whether or not it exists is immaterial. It's an unscientific concept because it's unfalsifiable. You can't devise an experiment that would prove or disprove it one way or the other. For anyone new here, I'm an atheist, just so you know.
Shun the non-believer!
Oh, sweetie, really?
Second law of thermodynamics. Eventually, everything turns to shit. Physics is turning to shit.
That's kind of a funny way to think of entropy, is literally everything goes to shit eventually. It's kind of true.
Let me guess, you probably are.
I design self-assembling synthetic polymer nanofibers. I started a company that manufactures them for a variety of potential medical, energy, and materials applications.
Awesome.
And
I'm a senior researcher in the theoretical physics group at Imperial College. I'm doing a meta-study analyzing the results of particle accelerator experiments around the world.
Awesome.
yeah, enjoy it. Bye.
That would backfire on me. Don't tell me you're a genius if you're hoping that would get rid of me. That's just going to make me way more interested in you. With the right kind of technology, you could do that. Because what we see is just processing in our occipital lobe. Strictly speaking, it's not real. So why has he identified these guys? Is it because they're associates of one of the other victims?
Pay attention.
Tavera.
Taviran?
Oh?
No.
That one.
I don't want one.
It's my most popular flavour. Third highest selling crisp in the UK after Walker's cheese and onion and Monster Munch beef.
Congratulations.
Suck a dick, Pringles.
I had heard that, yeah, his character dropped out and then created a snack empire. I was like, how do you go from advanced physics or whatever to snack empire?
This is Prithviraj.
Just Raj, mate.
Nice to meet you.
What's going on here?
I was trying to figure it out on YouTube.
Winner of the Epker Award. Can't tie a tie.
Lord Kelvin thought that atoms were not at vortices in the ether.
Oh, did he?
He also thought that there were...
Were you two an item at some point? There was some interesting indirect storytelling going on there. Something like that would definitely drive you nuts. For one thing, just seeing something no one else can see was going to make you kind of go crazy over time. But the big thing that's going to be, looming over you the whole time.
I loved your daughter very much.
Oh, that's how she ties in the back end of this. But the big thing you're going to be sitting there thinking the whole time is what happens when you reach the end of the countdown. Oh, so unrequited thing.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you know.
So they were all very close, clearly. You know, I really wish I didn't know anything about who any of the characters were, but they released so much information telling me basic things about the different characters. It's like I can already piece together more things that I probably should be able to. I like it. Really hammering home time in this.
Can't justify using enough electricity to power a small town when you're getting nonsense results.
Yeah, not just Oxford. Every major accelerator on the planet.
Well, she must have been depressed about
Which,
that.
Yeah, but to kill yourself?
so
She was
here's
a bit
the
of a
problem
killjoy
there.
for being a-
If every accelerator was getting similar results, they wouldn't shut down their project because they would have confirmation already that the results were valid. If anything, they'd get more funding to try and figure out what the hell it all means.
Like, I have about one kid in every class who actually listens to what I'm saying, and the rest are just there for their mandatory science course.
We were all that one kid.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you two fighting right now? Oh, fuck it.
Oh, yeah, Captain.
Ah, so they're the item.
Fighting and fucking.
Jack,
Shut your mouth. You want to know as well?
Jack, I love you, but I swear to God, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna punch a hole straight through your head.
They're doing a good job of establishing what their characters are like. Even with her, like when she's under stress right now, they've established what she's typically like based on how people are reacting to the way she's behaving now. Okay. I know you're crazy from the trailers. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be a bad guy. So I wonder if she knows what's happening to her.
How far has it got? Your countdown.
Okay.
It's easy to make it stop. You put an end to your work. No more nanofibers.
But why, though?
Does the universe ever winked at you? Tomorrow.
Focus on the giant smoking kills
You
thing
don't
on the
want
side.
it to get to zero.
What happens when it gets to zero?
Nothing good ever happens at zero.
So the aliens are trying to make the human race dumb itself down? The thing is, though, it's going to be many thousands of years before we are able, at our current technological advancement trajectory, to come up with tech that would be able to withstand an invasion from a spacefaring species. They'd roll over us.
离那儿越近，会越多奇怪的事情发生。在那工作的同志头发都掉得很厉害，晴空里还会出现雷电。
Or do they research it up there? I mean, I'm assuming that's a communication dish, but the way it's aimed suggests it's communicating with satellites.
西方世界很有影响力，它讲述了人类行为对环境的破坏。如果建设兵团再继续坚持这种不负责任的行为，那么书中所说的
Is this a test?
留着看吧。不过小心，别让其他人发现。
I mean, like all the people you're literally surrounded by right now. Private conversations happening in public, it's always going to be one of my bugaboos in fiction. So this is, I'm assuming, going to end up being the father of the woman who committed suicide. Bro, have you never kissed anyone before? I haven't had a kiss that awkward since I was like 15 or something. Uh-oh, they found your book.
这本宣传反动大毒草是怎么落到你手里的？
这不是我的。
这本书是英文的，这里除了你，还有谁会讲英文？
Just signal to her to go ahead and throw me under the bus. Only the weak fear knowledge.
我不知道父亲跟这些人有过联系。
这些内容都是真实的，你妈妈都知道，你会不知道？看，他已经签字了。
我不能签，我不能作证。
如果不签，你将会被军管处判刑。到了那个时候，我可就帮不了你了。
I hate bullies. I hate bullies so much.
我不能签，我不能作证。
You're strong. I hope you can maintain it. Those bullies who've been given authority are the worst. I always say, if you want to see who someone really is, give them power and the belief that they won't have to face consequences for how they use it.
Possible extenses of
the possible existence of phase boundaries within the solar radiation zone and their reflective characteristics. 对，是我写的。
我们的研究需要你的专业知识。
Man, fuck you guys.
这可是最高机密的研究项目。以你现在的身份，一旦进入身后这道门内，可能一辈子都出不来了。
我进去。
She wants to know what's going on in there. She's got a curious mind. I understand that. It's like if aliens really have contacted us and the military has information, I will sign any NDA to gain access to that information. This is MI6. It's the ultra secret MI7.
This is your last chance saloon. Don't fuck it up. No smoking in here.
Man, fuck off. Not because he told him to stop smoking, but because he's freaking surveilling. Oh, you meant to make some fried rice? I love fried rice. Oh, never mind. The forbidden rice.
I've tried, but I just can't wrap my head around it. Why she would do that?
So was she her teacher or her mother?
I'm sorry to ask, but did she leave a note or any explanation? Nothing.
Okay, so I'm guessing teacher then.
She asks all about God. Did she ever ask you?
About God? We're not believers in this house. We're scientists.
It's kind of funny because they're doing the Buddhist rituals, but they're not believers in anything. So it was always strange to me how people can be religious but not religious, you know? But then again, I'm a bit of an iconoclast as well, which probably isn't all that surprising considering that I'm an atheist.
It's a video game? Where's the rest of it?
That's it.
All the people trying to create VR right now are like just creaming their pants.
In another life, my first job.
You're beautiful.
I was.
Not a bad looking old lady now. I mean, what are you, like 90?
How dare you?
我们发射什么？导弹吗？
导弹谁没有？
Death ray? I mean, I'm assuming electromagnetism is the reason why people keep losing their hair and stuff. So what are they testing here? I did not like that sound. Oh.
目标是什么？
Yeah, what is the target? Because I mean, the angles and everything, I would think it's got to be something in orbit. I mean, I suppose it could be something in deep space, but I would think you would need a much, much bigger dish than that to reliably reach something in deep space. I like how they did that. Where it's just subtly not real. Like, just has like the vaguest semblance of like sort of a plasticine kind of sheen to it. I like that. Implying that while it's incredibly good fidelity, it's still not perfectly representing reality, you know? that star is either incredibly large or very close or both.
I don't really understand the science that's broken, to be honest.
I don't understand it either, but it's not good.
I mean, if it's particle accelerators,
you're not a scientist. Shit time to be a scientist.
They should be looking for fundamental particles and stuff, right? So like trying to figure out interactions that would have been indicative of like the early state of the universe. I think.
On this moon,
what science did they find it was broken?
In this beautiful place.
Fundamental force not acting correctly. Observed a particle that shouldn't have existed. Or that, you know, that the model doesn't predict. Because if it exists, it exists.
She said to look at the sky at midnight and gave me this. Came out of a breakfast cereal.
It's a decoder ring, isn't it?
No confirmation bias. Just watch and let me know what you observe if you observe anything. Science, dude. That's why you're here.
That is science. Though, you should also have had him not be with you during this. Should have had him observe the sky from a different location at the same time.
It looks like Morse code, but it's not.
You know Morse code?
I know all kind of shit.
I like how it's like we're switching back and forth between two different countdowns.
把红岸工程的真实情况告诉你。
Inner circle.
Ah, stars are so bright tonight.
You're so high.
Wait, he's high? That could invalidate his observations.
武器试验基地。
So is it a communications project?
系统的辐射是可以调节的，发射的频率和振幅也在不断变化。如果是一个武器系统，
That's
这些都没有
communication.
必要。
With what? What? It's in Morse code.
Shit, it's a code.
What does it say? What does it say?
接触。接触谁？
地球以外的任何生命。
What the fuck could do something like that?
Not clouds. Those are enemy. It's not letters.
You can't.
It's just numbers.
You can't fight something that can do that. Oh my god, that even the because I mean obviously that little brief flicker of the sky doing weird shit was in the trailer. But even with that, like fucking seeing that moment was very affecting because you know, like I mentioned, a species that can trivially travel the stars is already ridiculously beyond us. Like we cannot stand against a foe like that if one decides to make us its enemy. But something that can turn off the fucking universe basically is. I can see why the question of God is being raised so many times here, because that's a god. Only gods can do things like that. You know, it reminds me, you know, and probably not a coincidence that so many things in sci-fi will remind me of stuff like this because it's one of the seminal works of modern science fiction. But if you've never read Childhood's End, I highly recommend you read it. There is a moment in Childhood's End that is one of the great, you know, what is the power of a race that has basically achieved godhood? What does it look like, you know? And it reminded me very much of this, and I almost wonder if it was a direct inspiration on what's his name, Cixin Liu, when he wrote this, because that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, that was a pretty compelling first episode. I'm very curious to find out what the hell exactly is going on with this communications project in the past, and how it presumably has set up what is going on now. I want to know what the countdown is counting down to. I want to know so at first I thought from the trailers that all these scientists were seeing the countdown, but I guess it goes from scientist to scientist, which is interesting. And so they're not all seeing it. So one of the other things I want to know is what determines who starts seeing the countdown. Also, what determines who gets the VR headsets. I just realized we haven't really gotten everyone's names spoken very often, so they're kind of hard to stick. But like, I guess Augie, I want to know if she ever got the headset, because I want to know if there's a relationship between the headsets and the countdowns. At the moment, I'm assuming there isn't, and I want to know why whatever alien race appears to have us in its crosshairs has decided that.
Because fuck them, that's why.
Okay, I did talk about this hypothesis about the Fermi paradox, one of the solutions to it. I didn't know that the second book has the name of one of the solutions. I don't know if that book named that particular solution or if it took its name from the solution, but the Dark Force hypothesis, which is that, every alien race or every race in the galaxy, intelligent species, has to assume, in order to protect itself, ensure its own survival, that any other race out there is hostile. And so the smartest thing to do would just be to try to conceal yourself as much as possible. As soon as you are able to, start hiding your transmissions so that no one sees you except for the brief window when you're smart enough to make transmissions that can be seen, but haven't quite gotten to the point where you're wised up enough to realize that maybe you don't want anybody to see those transmissions. So whatever that window is after, but after that, you hope nobody notices those, and you just stop sending out signals after that point. And that if you ever detect signals from another race, that you should basically go out and try to destroy them, if at all possible, because it's the best chance of you surviving. You have to assume that they will try to destroy you. And it's a very pessimistic outlook, but it's one of the solutions to the question of, well, mathematically we know that even if life is very rare, there still should be a shit ton of it in the universe. So why don't we see any signs of other intelligent life forms? Maybe it's because they're all hiding so that they don't get destroyed by anybody else. So I'm going to assume that the reason why we're in this race's crosshairs is just because they're pursuing that ultimate pragmatism of just saying we can't take the risk that these other critters are not going to try to destroy us, so we need to go ahead and destroy them first. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. If you have read the books, obviously let me know that as well and how you think they compare with each other. But please use your spoiler warnings and space. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that my movements and stuff weren't too distracting this time, but yeah, I mean, kind of get used to it, because I'm going to be putting less effort into trying to hide them and control them and stuff going forward. But again, thank you so much for watching this with me. Hope to see you for the rest of this season. And yeah, do your best to stay safe and be well, and I will see you for the next episode. Bye-bye.
So...
How can it be happening?
Can't.